Hi, my name is Dean Six. I'm the Vice President and General Manager of Blenco Glass here in downtown Milton, West Virginia. For a good number of years, West Virginia has celebrated its birthday in part by a custom-made piece from Blenco Glass. So today we're going to talk about those, the history, and the current offering for West Virginia Day. West Virginia Day piece was not created, the idea wasn't created by Blenco, but it was created by the Diamond Department Store, which at the time was based in Charleston, West Virginia. In the year 1980, they chose to ask Blenco to make a special piece they could sell in their store, I assume on West Virginia Day, but to commemorate West Virginia's statehood day, quote unquote West Virginia Day. So it began in 1980, making it for the Diamond. The Diamond didn't last forever, and when it went out of business, the concern was people were pretty serious about loving and buying these things, so who would continue to do that? I wasn't here for that discussion, but for some reason, Blenco Glass Company chose to continue making them and selling them here at Blenco. So when Diamond closed, came here, and we've continued that tradition every year since, making each year the number of pieces that the state is owed. So this year is 158 years since West Virginia's statehood, and the price goes up $1 each year, so it's always a wonderful way to keep things straight. We make the number of the year and the price is the same. So we're not quite keeping up with inflation, but this year it will be $158 and 158 pieces. Next year, 159, 159. And forever onward, we hope. Once the event came to Blenco's campus, it became a competitive thing. Perhaps it was when it was downtown. People would start coming on Monday to pick up the piece at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. They started coming a little bit earlier to get ahead of everyone else because they want a specific number, particularly number 1, because each is serially numbered. So it got to the point where on Monday night, we had people beginning to show up to camp in the parking lot in front of our visitor center, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, camping in the parking lot. And there would be, by Tuesday or Wednesday, there would be 30 people. By Thursday or Friday, there would be 100 plus people. It's not normally part of the planning for Glass Factory to have to anticipate 100 campers in your parking lot, with all the problems that come with that. You know, they go over town and buy lunch. They obviously need restroom facilities. Parts of our building become the sponge bath shower house. It's a very interesting time to be here. People love the experience, though, and that always amazes me. They're happy to sleep on the ground or in their car for 4 or 5 days. So the anticipation, the kind of camaraderie that's been built around it is very significant. It's kind of a community into itself. Last year, because of COVID, we did away with it. We didn't want 100 people sleeping in our parking lot. We've done it all virtually, and that's what we're doing again this year. And for lots of reasons, we may continue to do so. Local folks are a little bit miffed because they don't get to sleep in the parking lot for a week. We as a company are a little bit relieved because we don't have to worry about renting porta-johns and other things that really aren't part of the glass process. So the interest in the piece over the decades of it having been made has always been great, and it seems to continue to grow. The design each year is created by either our in-house designer. A couple years we've had contests. 1 year within our employees. Sometimes we've asked an outside designer to create the piece. And we also ask them for the story. Why did you choose this? How did you come up with this particular shape? So we indeed have had one shape like a musical instrument, like a guitar, somewhat abstracted. We've had fish because the designer at the time, he had fished in West Virginia, but he heard all these fishing stories. So 1 year we had a fish. We've had leaves. A few years ago we had a moon over the mountains with a big moon-colored shaped stopper and the vessel itself. The story that's probably least known is 1 year, right after one of the mine disasters, the designer chose a very, very subdued gray piece with a crystal stopper. And we didn't really talk about the piece, in that context, but his motivation had been, to commemorate, kind of memorialize the folks who lost their lives in that mine disaster. So that each tells a story. Some of them are a little bit light and flippant, and some of them are pretty serious and kind of really a part of who we are in West Virginia. This year, the designer is a young graphics artist from Morgantown, West Virginia, Liz Pavlovic, and her composition is homage to the ever pungent West Virginia ramp. So although it's not exactly a factual representation, it has the white bulb like an onion or a leek, which the ramp has, a long stem and then a green leaf on top, meant to pay tribute to and to somewhat reflect the shape of good old West Virginia ramp. Something that if you haven't encountered or discovered, you wouldn't forget it. This year's companion piece is a bowl, a salad bowl, to hold your ramp salad. Now, if you happen to live far away or you get it, it's almost the end of the ramp season. We couldn't figure out how to get ramps to you. It's not very popular to mail them in the U.S. mail, I've learned from several stories. But we're marketing it with a bottle of made in West Virginia ramp salad dressing, so that no matter when you get around to using that ramp bowl, you can infuse your lovely salad with the pungent aroma and taste of the ramp without having to go into the woods and dig. How easy is that? So this year's all about a little culinary celebration and the West Virginia ramp. As always, it's a pleasure to share stories and parts of what are happening in Blencoe with you. We thank you for joining us and encourage you to like and subscribe. If you want to learn more about the piece, follow us on our social media, and by shortly after June 20th, all 158 of them will have new homes. Hopefully one of them is your house.